Hey guys, this is Baser here, and today we are going to be learning about commands. Commands are essentially text that users can input into their chat to make something happen. So for example, a player could type in /spawn and then they would be brought to a spawn point. In this video, we'll be learning how to use commands and how to use command arguments. So anyways, let's get started. Okay, so in this example, you can see that we have a very basic command called spawn. We're defining that command with our keyword command and then adding the name after it. Underneath there, we have a trigger, and then under that trigger, we can add the code that we want to happen whenever this command is run. In our case, we're teleporting the player to a location. Now, you might actually notice something pretty interesting about this because there's like a lot of brackets and numbers and a lot of things going on there, so let's take a closer look at this. So we actually have two functions inside of this. So the first one is location and the second one is world. Each one of these takes in arguments. In the case of location, it takes in coordinates and a world. In the case of world, it'll take in a world name and then it will turn it into a world object. So the end result is we're teleporting a player to a location which is 0640 in the world. So command properties are essentially ways that you can change how your command is registered and also some attributes of your command. For example, you can set who can actually run your command, you can set permissions, you can set aliases, meaning other commands that will do pretty much the exact same thing, just with a different word, and you can set a lot more. Okay, so here's an example of a couple more properties for commands. So I've actually added a permission and a permission message. So I'm saying that you need the permission spawn.teleport in order to run the spawn command, and if they don't have that permission, it's saying you cannot teleport here. You can look up the documentation and find all of these different properties, but here's just a couple examples of some more. So command arguments are essentially inputs from the player or console that are objects. So a player could say, okay, I want to teleport a different player to spawn, so that would be an example of an argument. So you would type in /spawn and then that player's name. So let's actually look at an example of that. Okay, so here we can see that we've actually built on this command quite a bit. So the first thing you should notice is that at the top, we have player in some weird shaped brackets. This is actually telling Skript that, hey, we need a player input. So the player will input a player, so that would be like a player's name. Next, we actually have a condition now where we're saying if arg-1, which stands for argument 1 is a player, which is what we defined at the top. So we're saying if arg-1 is set, then teleport arg-1 to our spawn location, and if it isn't, then we'll just teleport the player who ran that command to the spawn location. So in the next video, I'll be going over how to use documentation to actually look up what you're trying to find. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and any feedback on this series is appreciated.